Y'all, babies are super expensive, and honestly, in today's world, that hits even harder. Gas prices are high, grocery prices are high, everything is super expensive, and that's without kids. Then you add a baby into the mix, and it feels like your budget gets tighter really fast. That's why I want to make this video because if you're watching this right now and you're feeling overwhelmed, if you feel like there's no way that you're going to be able to afford everything for this baby, please stay with me because I'm going to simplify things for you, and I want you to walk away feeling like, yes, I can do this. I can also tell you that with our second baby, I did have a really good job, but we still struggled. I remember sitting there scrambling, trying to think back at my first child because there's an age gap between my two children. What did I actually use? What do I waste my money on? What do I really need this time? Just lots of questions came through my mind. So hopefully I can answer some of those for you today. If you don't know me, my name is Rachel, and I would love to be your new mom BFF. I hope that you hit that subscribe button and stay and help me build this community. Very first thing that I wanted to talk about is feeding because it's one of those areas where you can spend a lot of money really fast. So first off is bottles. You don't need a huge bottle collection right off the bat. Babies are actually really picky, and you might end up trying a couple different bottles before you find one that they actually like. So you may want to just wait it out. Now, of course, if you get some for your shower, you can try those out. And then they also have registry boxes that will send you samples as well. So you may want to wait for those items to come in just to see if those are ones that they prefer. Now, the most affordable option as far as bottles go that I could find besides the Walmart brand are the Even Flow ones. You get 12 of them for around $18, which is about $1.50 a piece. They are BPA free, but they are plastic. And I just prefer silicone. I feel like it's safer for the baby. So options like Boon or TomoComo are both ones that I really like, but they're on the higher end, close to $20 a piece. Now, going on to formula, you may not even need this step because if you're going to be breastfeeding exclusively, you may not even have to worry about formula. This is a big one. I actually have a full video dedicated to ways to save money, and this will be in that video because there's just a lot to go over. But one of my biggest tips is to ask your pediatrician for samples. A lot of offices have them, and they'll give them to you for free if you ask. My pediatrician did with our first child, and it really saved us because she was on the bougie formula. She's a bougie baby, don't ask me why. Also, you can sign up for those free boxes from the formula companies. They'll send you Similac and Enfamil will send you some. They also give some coupons in there. I really think that those are worth it. Even if you plan to exclusively breastfeed, I do feel like the boxes are worth ordering just in case you need them as backup. If you're breastfeeding, don't buy a bunch of stuff until this is the route you want or can go. With both of my children, I wanted to breastfeed. I completely dried up when I returned to work, and it was very depressing. It just sometimes doesn't work out, and that's okay. The very first thing I would ask you to do is to check with your insurance as far as being able to get you a breast pump for free. They do pay for part of it or all of it, depending on what plan you have, but they usually do have a maximum that they'll pay for. My insurance company would only pay for $250. So if you get a breast pump that's more than $250, you're going to end up having to pay out of pocket. Two of the major ones that I like are the Spectra and the Medela. Both of them are very reliable, and they're within that range that the insurance company will pay for. Usually you can order it through a medical supply company, and they will send it directly to your door. You don't have to go pick it up or anything like that. I do have a couple Amazon options just in case you would like to see those if you don't want to leave your house like me most of the time. Some of the breastfeeding supplies that I think that would be beneficial to you just to have on hand if you are considering breastfeeding are nipple butter and some breast pads. Breast pads are pretty inexpensive. There's a box you can get for less than $10, and you just have these on hand just in case you start leaking and you need something in a situation. I like to have those on hand. And then I also like the Earth Mama's nipple butter because you don't have to wipe it off before feeding your baby. I know with some of the cheaper nipple creams, you have to wipe it off in between. It's just a lot more work, and I feel like to me it just wasn't worth it. I'd rather just get the organic kind and know that it's safe. I also get a basic bottle brush. You don't need the specialized soap, just mild dish soap works just fine. I do also think a sanitizer is necessary. I know a lot of people don't think a bottle sanitizer is necessary, but babies have really immature immune systems, and having something to ensure that they have a clean bottle to eat from is, to me, very essential. Dishwashers aren't usually recommended because of the cross-contamination of food with other bacteria in your dishwasher. You can also use the old-fashioned boiling method, but you probably don't want to do this if you're planning on using plastic bottles because you run the risk of damaging or degrading that plastic. Plus, it's a lot of work to boil all those bottles and it's exhausting, and no mama really needs that. You're up all night, you're tired, and I would just go with the automatic sanitizer. It'll save you a bunch of trouble. Next up, birth cloths. You don't actually have to buy these. A dish towel works just fine, and even a hand towel as well. But I really like these super absorbent ones. They're for around $10, and I think they're great. And plus, that way you have something exclusively for the baby. You're not having to go back and forth between dish towels and trying to wash them. It's just, I feel like, easier to have something exclusively for them. Pacifiers, don't go out and buy a bunch. Just like the bottles, you don't know what they're going to like. The hospital gives you one or two for free. That's a great place to start. If you want to get a few of these, you can get the MAM pacifiers. You can get two of them for about $7, and then you're set, ready to go. And if they like them, great. If not, you haven't wasted a bunch of money. So next up is clothing. This is one that a lot of people go overboard on. I know I did with my first child. You overbuy because everything's just so cute, especially if you have a daughter and you're just excited about having a new baby. You just buy everything that you see. But unfortunately, that's just not realistic, especially in this economy. So your baby is going to live in a very small wardrobe and have a very small rotation of clothing. So I recommend focusing on sleepers and basics that you can mix and match. This way, if you get clothing as gifts and you want to pair it with what you already have, starting with about 6 to 8 total sleepers. I would only get the zip up sleepers. No one wants to button up 16 buttons at 2 a.m. in the morning when you're half asleep. Don't do it. Nobody wants to deal with that. Save yourself the trouble. Get the zip up kind. I feel like the best quality, budget friendly options are the Carter's 3-pack of sleepers. They're the Simple Joy kind, and they're about $25 per pack. I would recommend getting two of these. So if you're going to be spending about $50 total and you're set, ready to go, you're done with sleepers. The next thing that I would recommend that you get are a package of onesies. These are great for layering. You can wear them completely on their own, especially if you live in a place that's a little bit warmer. The Gerber 5-pack is around $16. It's affordable and really good quality. I know a lot of people kind of skip on these, but I loved them, especially for my little boy. I think they're fantastic. Pants are kind of optional, but I do like to have a complete outfit if we're going to go out somewhere. So I would recommend getting at least 3 pairs of pants. For the baby, they have the kind that goes with those Gerber onesies that I recommended. You get 3 for about $14. They're great basic. Plus, like I said, if you're going out and about or it's a little bit cooler, you have them on hand. Socks, don't get me started on socks. You lose socks all the time, constantly. So grab yourself a bigger pack, like a 12-pack. Got these for around $10 and just call it a day. Bibs were really important in our family because my child was constantly spitting up. Your child may not have that issue. So I would start with just some basic bibs. I do like the muslin fabric. It seems to be very soft and easy on their skin. Plus, it's very absorbent when they spit up. You can get a pack of 6 for about $10, and this will last you a little while. Don't overdo it on clothes. Babies grow out so fast. There's some things that my daughter had that we never even wore, that the tags were still on. Don't feel like you have to overbuy. Plus, lots of people like to buy baby clothes. So if you are having a shower, you can bet that more than likely, at least a couple people will buy you some clothing for your baby. A simple rotation of clothing is all you need. Next on the list is sleep. When it comes to sleep, there are just a couple things that I really want you to focus on. The main thing is the baby does need a safe place to sleep, a safe place that is not in your bed or with you or your partner. It can be a pack and play, it can be a bassinet, it can be a crib. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on a bassinet and a crib. And if you see that Snoo bassinet that rocks the baby back to sleep, it's $1,600. Absolutely not. We're going to go for the budget friendly option. The Baby Trend Pack and Play is about $80. I personally like it because as the baby grows, they can use it for longer. And if you prefer something that's bedside, which I really liked with my son, you put it up against the bed and you can still roll over and it's easy to access the baby that way. I liked that one. You can just, like I said, put down the side and get to your baby. It's great for breastfeeding as well, especially in the middle of the night when you're wanting to stand up and reach over. That bassinet is about $88 and it works really great. I would not recommend a budget option. I did find at Walmart it was under $50. I think it was $49.98 or something like that at Walmart. It doesn't look like a very sturdy construction and it's to me questionable about safety, so I would skip it. Safe sleep is not somewhere you want to cut corners, and so I would highly recommend that you get a bassinet or a pack and play that looks safe and that you feel comfortable with. For blankets, obviously babies don't need a lot of stuff in their crib, but if you want to swaddle your baby, you can ask for maybe 1 or 2 blankets from the hospital. Sometimes they'll give them to you as a keepsake, and you can use those and then keep them as a keepsake after you're done with them. They actually work really well as burp cloths as well, in case you need them for that. But I also like these muslin swaddle blankets. They're about $12 for a pack of 3. They're lightweight, they're breathable, and honestly, they're the easiest one for me to do the wrap thing with, especially if you're trying to swaddle your baby and you're new at it. It just was the easiest fabric for me to be able to swaddle. But if swaddling feels overwhelming, they do have sleep sacks, and those are amazing. My child is 18 months old, and he still wears his sleep sack. You can get a pack of 2 for about $13.99. They make life a little bit easier. No figuring out how to wrap up a blanket at 3 a.m. You don't have to worry about if the baby's cold or hot. You know that they're covered. You know that they're comfortable. Also, you should get at least 2 fitted sheets. I have some here for the pack and play for about $10. There's a package of 2. So let's talk out and about. Car seats first, because obviously this is required. I feel like a lot of people get pressured into spending a lot of money on a car seat. You don't need $1,000 car seat. It is required, but it's not required for you to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on it. Basic one works just fine. All of them have to meet a certain safety standard, so you know that even if you're getting a less expensive car seat, it meets industry standards. My 2 recommendations for budget-friendly options are Baby Trend Easy Lift. It's about $87.99, and the Secure Lift is around $110. Both meet safety standards. Please do not go out and buy a $600 car seat if it's not something that's within your budget and you feel like you can afford. I feel like you can save that money and put it other places. The higher place doesn't usually mean safer. They're bragging about features and things like that, but really, this is a good place that you can save your money without sacrificing what's really important. So diapering. Everybody worries about diapers. How are we going to pay for diapers? As far as diapers go, my biggest advice is don't stockpile too much before the baby gets here. Now, again, if you have a shower and you were given a bunch of diapers, accept all those, honey. Take all that they will give you. But every baby is different, and every baby may react to brands differently. One of my children broke out with one brand and then did well with another one. But I would not try to buy the budget diapers, like the Parents' Choice diapers. They're just not good quality, and they're going to be something that your baby's going to be in all the time. Seem like a good deal to end up dealing with blowouts and leaks and irritation. It's just more stress, and it's not worth the aggravation, in my opinion. It's just not worth sacrificing their comfort for a cheaper price. I do recommend you get a package of just newborn diapers for about $10, and then you can get one big box for about $50. Definitely wait for sales. Places like Target. Actually, again, I'm going to add this into the video about how to save money on diapers. There's a whole bunch of ways that you can cut costs. For wipes, I would just get one big pack. Huggies has a pack for about $28.54. It will last a while, and that way, if you don't like that brand, you're not stuck with a whole bunch of diapers that you can't use. Diaper cream's pretty inexpensive. Destin's about $5.35. It works really well. Category up is hygiene. I'm going to keep it real simple here. One of the baby washes that I recommend is the Dove baby wash. It's for sensitive skin. It's pretty inexpensive, and you can get it at Amazon, you can get it at Target, you can get it at Walmart, and pretty much any baby wash will do. You don't need the super expensive kind. I usually try to get a baby wash that's for sensitive skin because babies do have really sensitive skin. For towels, I like these muslin bath towels for about $14. You get a set of 2. They're lightweight. They dry quickly. Washcloths, same way. You get a package of 6 for about $7. You'll use these all the time, so it's nice to have a few on hand. For a baby bath, you don't need anything fancy. Lots of moms love that Angel Care bath support thing. It does the job. It's only about $20. I prefer something a little bit more structured. I couldn't find the exact one that I use for both of my children, but the Baby Frida bath is around that same price range, and it's similar to the one that I had, and it's about $40. Granted, that one grows more with your baby than the Angel one does, so it's just something to consider as well. It's totally dependent on your personal preference. They do also have the inserts that go in the sink. Those are a little bit more on the expensive side, and they're not something you can use for an extended period of time. When the baby outgrows it, then you're kind of stuck with it. So I wouldn't recommend getting that one in particular, just because you want something that's going to grow with the baby. Health basics. Now, I am in the medical field, but I'm not giving you any type of medical advice. This is just mom to mom here. One of those categories that I think you need just a few things here. Nobody wants to be scrambling with an uncomfortable baby, trying to go to the store in the middle of the night. It's not fun. I've been there, and I tell you, I'm not about that life. Always consult your pediatrician before you do anything concerning your baby's health. Every baby's different, every situation is different, so make sure that you are talking with your pediatrician. Number one is a simple thermometer. It's about $5. Nothing fancy, just something that's really reliable. Rectal thermometers are the most accurate. I know people don't want to hear that, but they are the most accurate. This one has a safeguard in place, so you can't go too far up their system. I would not recommend getting the long one because some people don't know how far to go up, and you can run the risk for possible complications. So I would just recommend getting that one. I also would recommend getting baby acetaminophen or Tylenol. It's around $4. It's good to have on hand just in case of fever. Fevers can cause seizures in babies and can have a very negative outcome, and they're unsafe for baby. Obviously, if your baby is little and they're running fever for an extended period of time, you do need to consult your pediatrician. Ibuprofen is not recommended in the first 6 months of life, so please do not use that on your small child. A medicine syringe like Dr. Talbot's, I think is how you say it. You can get one for about $8, and they're great for giving medicine. It makes it just so much easier. Because you can just use a syringe that comes with the medication. It's not a big deal. For nasal care, the hospital usually give you those bulb syringes. Y'all, I cannot do those bulb syringes. I have tried, and I just could not get the suction to work for me. So I had to upgrade to the nose Frida. It works really well. I know people think it's gross to suck it out of your baby's nose, but it doesn't go in the actual tubing system. There's a filter and everything, but it's the best way to get your baby's nose clean and the best way to prevent them from being so congested. I would also recommend a sterile nasal spray for about $5. This is super helpful with congestion, that dried up mucus, and it helps protect their sensitive nasal passages while you're sucking out all that gunk. For nails, you can either do a simple electric file, which is what I use for my baby. It's about $8. It's very gentle, or you can get baby clippers for about $10. Totally up to you. Both of them work great. I really like the one that files it down. I get nervous possibly clipping the child's finger or their toe or something like that, and I would rather just do the file. Sanity savers. Last, these are not required, but they do make a big difference in your everyday. Like a simple bouncer from Bright Stars for about $30, and then you can also get a swing. I know these sound like, oh, well, you don't really need this right now, and you don't. But if you want a few minutes to get a shower or to eat or just to set your baby down for a second, it's nice to have these just so that way you have an option in case you need it. Especially in those early days when they're crying a lot, you're losing a lot of sleep. It's nice to have some place that you can set the baby down while you're needing to do other things. But overall, I just wanted to remind you that you don't need much for your baby. So I did add everything up. And if you get all the things that I mentioned on this list, you are going to be spending about $635, which is way less than most people are spending, anywhere from $2 to $3 grand on their baby. And most of us just don't have the resources to do that. These are essential items that I talked about today. Still a lot, but compared to social media pushes and all these influencers telling you need all these different things, I feel like it's a pretty simplified list. So if you're sitting there feeling overwhelmed, thinking, how am I going to afford all this? Just know you can do this. I will help you through this. I've got more videos coming about ways to save money with your kids and ways to save money with your baby. So please know that we're all in this together, financially, emotionally, all the things. And just know that everybody's struggling right now. So you do not need to feel bad about the fact that you are struggling. If you want to be a parent, you want to raise your child, there are ways to do it. If this video helped you, I would love for you to subscribe and again become part of the community. I'm going to be sharing lots more ways to save money, so just stay tuned for that. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Is there anything that I missed that you think is essential but still budget friendly that someone would need when they have their first baby? Let me know in the comments, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.